Ya acabé. That's, I think the power of technology and the power of methodologies is that we can relive things in the present, right? I mean, it was so long ago that the president talked here. I don't remember. But so just, we've been recording these, and we're gonna consolidate them and make them accessible to whoever wants to take them back home. I think one of the challenges for us, and us being here, but also us who experience these convenings in other places of the world, is that we travel in isolation and we travel by ourselves. And at the end of the day, when we go back home, somebody picked up the trash for us, right? Somebody answered the phones for us. And so I think part of the work that we do in gathering within the KFLA Alliance is that we're always mindful of who stayed back home to take care of the daily duties. And so for us, part of the challenge is as we think together and as we learn, and certainly there were some really powerful ideas that surfaced from here. And by the way, doing a hybrid doesn't mean that we're here together y luego no nos vemos, because many of our folks went to sessions that were hosted. And so it was a practical and useful experience. But I think, part of what we take from here as we convened our closings was that we had an opportunity, number one, to meet people that we hadn't. They're part of our network, but we hadn't seen these people before. Number two, we took an opportunity to really begin to assess, through conversation, our local assets. What are the gifts that we bring? Not just to our daily work, but also to this layer of the network. And I think number three is that we begin to reflect on the stories that were shared here today and subsequently the last couple of days. I think there were stories of resiliency, stories of power, stories of just courage. And it's important to process that. So as we left here, that gave us an opportunity and a vehicle. I think the group of people that were put together here for plenary and subsequently for sessions was really incredible. I think how the context was laid out by Dr. Becerra, the president of the university, Dr. Daly. The context is really scary. And this is the world that we live. And so I have to challenge myself, what kind of world am I leaving for my kids and my grandkids? And if that doesn't motivate me, I don't know what will. But I appreciated the way that we moved from there to the discussion of possibilities. And I think that provided some really refreshing and there's, in one of our small groups in the breakouts, we had a conversation and we talked about the methodologies of hope. I think the methodologies that were presented here, and this last one on resiliency, you know what? Everybody in our communities experience different type of stressors, but the power here was, number one, the courage, but number two, what methodology allowed us and invited us to go there. And so as social workers and educators, I think we need to think about that, because that's our craft. That's our charge. How do we get from this point to a point of possibilities? And in the process, hopefully that journey provides some healing and some development that gives us other opportunities. And I think, so Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Mercado, and I really appreciate that, Dr. Lusk, your geospatial development through a political and economic lens was powerful. And I think Dr. Sainz talked about that last night. Not only did he talk about it, he brought it to the place. So, I'm not here to represent anybody other than, my name was on the agenda here. But I think I do speak for my colleagues when I say I really appreciate the hospitality, being on the border, and the willingness of everybody, to welcome us. Though we might not be social workers, I think we are soldiers in this journey. Muchas gracias, and I hope everybody has a safe drive back home or flight.